I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Cyphriee. Hi.
Hello, it's so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, too. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, I'm Cyphriee, known as everybody's favorite star streamer. It's my goal as a VTuber to bring entertainment to all of the constellations above.
Oh, we appreciate you stopping by this one. Thank you so much. And how long have you been doing the VTube thing now?
I've actually only been VTubing for around a year now. I debuted in 2024, I believe it was August.
Mm-hmm.
So, little bit of a new VTuber here.
Yeah, what made you do it? What brought you to VTubing?
Well, I had just moved out of my parents' house. I was 19, no job. I dropped out of school, and I was looking for a way to connect with others.
Mm-hmm.
I had always wanted to be a content creator since I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I would, look into a couple other avenues. And that's when I discovered VTubing. Mm. And I was hooked on the concept from the start.
Yeah, but were there certain VTubers that you watched and religiously for a while, or did you?
It was more the medium.
Oh, the medium.
It was more the medium that attracted me. Yeah, the idea of having an avatar that represents you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and certainly that it represents you, and you get a chance to kind of use it as both a art piece and also a shield.
Yeah, exactly. It adds an extra layer of anonymity to it.
Yep.
You don't have to put yourself out there as much. Mm-hmm. And I've always been a huge fan of anime and manga since I was little. So the idea of, encompassing my own little anime character was just so appealing.
So that roped you right in there. No problem.
Pretty much, yeah.
So when you did get on and you turned the microphone on, were you overwhelmingly nervous, or had you been behind a microphone before?
You know what? It was actually my first time behind a microphone, but I wouldn't say I was nervous. I think I would be more excited than nervous.
Oh, cool.
I did jump the gun a little bit as soon as I, discovered VTubing. I went straight in with a full custom model and everything.
Wow.
And I was just so excited to show it off.
Yeah, that's a commitment.
Oh, it was.
Yes. So when you got in, you got your feet wet, and started realizing that there were other people tuning in for you, how did you accept that?
I had the luck of, my very first short that I posted got a lot of attention for a smaller VTuber. And it definitely made me very aware that there were eyes on me. So much so that for a little bit, I was, a little overwhelmed with how much I had grown in just a small period of time. I actually attribute my feelings to something called the spotlight effect, where it's just you're very aware and hyper aware of the idea of people watching you.
Yeah.
And it took me a little bit to actually overcome that.
Yeah. Is that different than stage fright?
A little bit different. So stage fright and spotlight effect, I would say, kind of go a little bit hand in hand, with the idea that, both make performing a lot more difficult. But the difference between stage fright that I saw is that, I had no problem with actually performing. It was just the idea that, my performance was being seen. That was, kind of the the drawback for me, I guess.
Wow, I hadn't heard of that before, and I would guess that I was going through some of that. I mean, because being on the radio, I could have hundreds and maybe a few thousand every once in a while around football games, and I wouldn't mind it. But you get me in front of 10 people in a room at the time, and I was like, no way, get me out of here.
Yeah.
So maybe that was. You taught me something about myself. I need the little rainbow graphic. The more you know across the screen.
The more you know.
The more you know. Um, so with that, and you're able to you're over that now, right? For the most part.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but actually, I had to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
I had planned on only staying away for the winter months of the ending of 2024,
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up taking a break that lasted almost 7 months before I returned back to VTubing.
Was it just life issues or just
Well, a lot of it was related to the anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and I had, thrown so much into it that a little bit of me got a little disillusioned, and I was, wondering just how far I could take it. And I was trying to ground myself back to reality, like, oh, it's just a hobby. I shouldn't, put too much attention to it. So I tried to focus a bit on, real life stuff for a bit.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I had realized just how much I cared for, things like streaming and VTubing,
Right.
beyond, and how much it like impacted my life in that short period of time, that I just really, really wanted to come back and start over. And that's what I did.
Yeah, because after that amount of time, any momentum is, you know, history, pretty much.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
exactly. So I
and
was able to start over with a better mindset
yeah,
and, a lot more, what I believe to be a lot more stable growth.
yeah, yeah, cool. That's good. That's good. And since then, pretty much smooth sailing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to reach affiliate on Twitch only around like a month or two after coming back. So
Mm,
I've received a lot of love upon my return.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm super excited about how far we've grown since then.
Yeah. I'll let you say lucky, but there's a lot more than that, obviously, and you know that, and people know that. It's very much a personality driven um, media, um,
Exactly.
and to know that there are people who are willing to and wanting to come back, and they want to know when you're coming on next, and they want to see you again. Um, that's a real wind beneath your wings moment.
It absolutely was.
Yeah, it just and so were you somebody who had gotten up on, had wanted to be on the stage earlier, or just never really wanted
You
to
know
be in
what?
drama
Yeah.
and all that stuff?
I ever since I was younger, I always was like, wanting to be, I guess, in the spotlight a bit. I was in theater clubs.
Hmm.
I would do auditions for local TV shows.
Cool.
And, as I loved acting, I loved performing and, being someone that people like would be entertained by. It's just that, I had some circumstances that never allowed me to go fully into it and fully like spread my wings
Right.
until I turned to VTubing,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's really paid off since then.
It's really given a lot of people a chance to fulfill that uh, want and scratch that itch to perform a little bit
Exactly, yeah.
and show exactly what they have. Um, there's a lot of talented people. You've heard so many probably incredible voices. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
you have one of the most interesting voices I've heard in a long time.
Thank you.
It is definitely different. It's hard to put into words, but there's a very different sound to it, and maybe I will by the time we're at the end of this interview, I'll come up with it. But it's very
Yeah, my
easy.
voice is something that's been complimented and commented on a lot, especially since I started VTubing, and
Yeah,
it is definitely something I wear as like a badge of honor now.
absolutely, absolutely, because that's a heck of an instrument there, and it's it's very tough to describe because it's almost two toned is how it comes across, and I don't think I've ever quite heard that before. Um, it's a it's very welcoming and peppy at the same time. Um, and I'll stop buttering you up here, but but
You're gonna make me blush.
yeah, well, I mean it really is. And I think people out there know what I'm talking about. And sooner or later I'll come up with words, and they may not be the right ones, but they'll come sooner or later. So with that voice of yours and the obvious want to be um, on the stage, have you thought about doing some voice acting type stuff?
It has been something that's crossed my mind, and I would absolutely love to like break into that. I think it's just that I have no idea where I would even start to try to learn.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's one of those odd things because in an entertainment industry, there are people who will go to school for an entertainment field, such as we did for radio. But there are, if you don't have the ability, you're still not going to get very far.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people who are hired off the street, and you just have to deal with that. You could have a 4 year degree in whatever, and somebody just comes out who's a natural, and you just it's like baseball. You can be the minor league player of the year for 10 years, get one at bat in the major leagues, and somebody is 17 comes in and can play shortstop like a Hall of Famer. You just deal with it. Um, so there's a lot of different ways to get there from here. There's blind auditions. There's groups that get smaller parts and use that to build up resumes, that type of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
So
somebody out there.
definitely something I'd like to,
Yeah,
look into in the future for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. But right now we're concentrating on the VTuber thing, and so what do you like to stream with? What do you do on stream usually?
I really love to talk.
Mm,
I have this voice. I want to use it. I love talking to anybody who comes into my stream, and I love just interacting with whoever comes in. And I use that sort of, chat interaction to kind of fuel a lot of my streams. The biggest thing that I like to do as a streamer is create a space where, people who enjoy giving game advice can do so,
mm,
especially considering that not a lot of streamers are okay with backseat gaming.
right.
So just having a space that allows, those people to come in and give advice and, being able to take that, I feel like really drives that interaction a lot further.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and to give specifics, recently I've been playing a game called Monster Hunter World.
right.
And the one thing to know about this sort of game is that it requires, there's a really large learning curve to it. And that is one that I have not reached yet. So I had to I had to ask myself, okay, how can I make this entertaining for the people who, are diehard fans of this game? And I figured that the way to do that was to involve them in the process.
Mm.
They can come into my stream and teach me things and play the game with me, and that's how we learn.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so you're when you're doing a stream like that, it is a different type of interaction with the chat rather than just a let's play and watch me play
Yeah,
and
it makes them feel more involved, and that's all I really want is to make my audience feel involved with me.
that's cool. Hey, it's again a little bit of a different swing on how these things are done, which is something that VTubers such yourself are going to be doing for however many years that the industry still begins to grow because it's still got a lot of growth left. There's still a lot of things that can be
Mm-hmm.
done, and a lot more people are going to learn about it and be entertained by it in the future. Everybody here is still in the beginning of what this is going to
I
be able to do,
agree.
and people who think it's already peaked, you're not paying attention. Um, there's still a ways to go. So, what game, if I were to watch your next stream, what game would you be playing?
It would still be Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
Honestly, we've been playing it for quite a while. It's taken me a little bit longer than I'd like to admit to complete the main story, but
yeah,
we're very, very close to seeing it through.
yeah. There's still monsters to hunt.
Still monsters to hunt, that's correct.
Oh man, I watch people play that, and it's a little bit. Yeah, I'm not as young as anybody used to be, and it might be a little bit too twitchy for me. I don't know if I could, you know, follow along with the patterns and such needed to do that at this point. Especially my hands aren't the greatest anymore. Um, but were you able to keep up with it right away and learn as you go, or are you able to see a monster you haven't been at and figure out their moves quickly?
Oh, geez. Well, so something that I, say about myself that I'm very honest about is that I am bad at games. Despite, being a gaming VTuber, I am terrible at games. So, it's the sort of thing where there's always something that I could improve on and I could do better at.
Hmm.
And, there are times that we're just blatantly obvious, but it's the something that I'm very transparent about when I, start or when people come into my stream,
Hmm.
and I like to believe that it's kind of part of the charm
Hmm.
that, it's not just a place where you get to watch someone already be good at something, but rather, where you can participate in helping a person get to that point instead.
Yeah, yeah. As much as it is and continues to be a personality-driven entertainment field, um, there is something to be said for innovation and just changing it up a little bit and doing something different. And what you're offering here is definitely different than a lot of folks. Um, but the big key for that for me would be still enjoying playing. And you are and you are
Yes.
and obviously you're still enjoying it because you're still playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Yeah.
still whomping those big old bird-like things. And what is the monster that
Yeah.
has caused you the most problem?
Oh, geez. I have personal beef with this monster called the Anjanath. I describe him, very passionately as as the worst monster I had ever come across. Because, he has this thing where every time you are within, within his area, he may not even be the target that I'm trying to hunt, but he'll come in anyways and and ruin things and he's very aggressive. So he'll come in and he'll attack me when I'm not even trying to bother him, and that has caused me so much grief in the early games.
Oh man, that's terrible. I mean, and there are some animals that will do that, and there are some that will actually fight the other animals, from
Mm-hmm.
what I see, or just
Yeah.
not pay any attention. Which would add, using the word realism in a game like this is a little bit of a stretch, but makes a little more sense anyway. That some of them won't care, some of them will want to jump in and attack, and some of them will attack the other animal. I mean, it's just
Yeah, it makes it feel a lot more lived in, a lot more believable, I think, as a setting.
yeah, yeah. And again, the believable part, I hope it isn't too believable. I don't. I already have enough nightmares. I don't need those things coming after me too. Would you say that's your comfort game now?
You know what? I would say so at the moment. It is probably one of my comfort games.
Yeah, yeah. You played it enough now where you just kind of almost naturally turn the computer onto it. I imagine.
Well, every time I go live, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
like my go-to comfort stream game.
yeah.
Off stream, though, I always say that my taste in games varies very differently.
Oh, really? So what does Cyphriee play when they're not on the air?
I am a little embarrassed to share. I have this one game that I've been kind of addicted to on my phone, and it's called Connect Word. It's literally just a word-based puzzle game,
Yeah,
and it's these sorts of puzzle games that on my phone that I play.
yeah.
Almost like I'll put in like maybe 3 hours a day playing these
I
games.
that just you get no judgment from me on that because I have a couple of games that I play all the time on the phone. It's one of
Mm-hmm.
them being
So
Scrabble, so
yeah, I'd
I'm
say
all over
when
that.
I'm not on stream, I'm playing, puzzle games. I'm playing Sudoku, Minesweeper.
Yeah,
Very, very different from
yeah.
from when I'm, live.
I found some games off the New York Times that are on. They change every day. I don't have the subscription because I don't like spending money. But the free games include a Sudoku, a uh, the Wordle game, um,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of others that I end up playing every day. Um, and I also have Scrabble that I play a lot. I play a lot of Scrabble.
Yeah.
Um, actually, was in a tournament once and finished second, which was pretty good for a first timer. But they scare me. They really do. These
You
folks,
should be proud.
I,
It's not an easy game. Everyone thinks that it is, but hey.
no, there is actual um, strategy for it. I mean,
Yeah.
you may not want to put down the word that has the biggest score every time because then you're setting up the other person for a triple word score, and then you die, and
Mhm.
that sort of thing. Um, but these folks were scary folks. I mean, they're walking around looking at every word in on the billboard and coming up with like 17 different ways to spell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even know what those words mean. I don't care. I'm going to play it. That's how they win. Um, so, have you always been a gamer?
You know what? Not always.
Mm,
I actually would call myself a little bit more of a reader than a gamer.
mm,
I only started getting into games when I was in high school in my junior year.
yeah.
I was 16 when my parents had gifted me a Nintendo Switch Lite,
Oh,
and my first game that I played on that was Skyrim, and it's been, I've loved games ever since.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to get caught on one,
You
that's a
know? Yeah.
yeah. It's that's a good one to do. I mean, everybody's got their first. I guess mine would be Pong because I was alive then, and we actually did play the actual original Pong cabinet, and I had a Pong at home, um, which was which we played into the '80s. So that's
Yeah.
but it's everybody has their own introduction, and with that being the first game that you played regularly, how long did it take for you to get addicted?
Oh, geez. Well, I was kind of hooked fairly quickly into the start.
Mm.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I have around 300 hours on my Switch alone, and then I also discovered the world of modded Skyrim. So,
Mm.
that added another at least 200 hours on my computer once I finally, had a computer to play with.
Yeah, so
So,
basically 3 solid weeks of you.
yeah, it was a lot of Skyrim.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, once you're hooked on something like that, and
Oh yeah.
you stay into it, and
You know,
and that's
I,
that.
I hope nobody follows my lead, but once I got hooked to it onto it, I'd actually started playing by skipping classes. I would hide out in the library while classes were supposed to be on, and I would just play.
Oh no, no one will do that.
Hopefully not.
Now we couldn't even do that in our school. We barely had TI uh, calculators on ours. We were spelling words upside down on the calculator. That was our video game at the time. Um, so since then though, I mean you've been pretty much hooked on them, and even though you say that you're not a good gamer, um, you've played enough now, and certainly played enough of these games that you've got to be pretty good at them. I mean, come on, really.
You know what? Here's what I always say. I always tell people that streaming takes away about 30% of my skill. So when I'm live, I'm about 30% worse
Yeah,
at games than if I were to be playing offline.
yeah, that's pretty good. I would say that about my artwork too, but you can't be less than zero. If you can't take 30% off of 20, it's nothing. That's when it comes down to that. Um, so when you've gotten this going and you're into the game online, have you got some games that you've played online where it's been tough to integrate the chat into it, or have you always been able to get chat going with you?
You know what? One of the games that I played pretty religiously early on in my streaming career, I actually had that problem. And it's one of the biggest reasons why I actually stepped away from cozy gaming.
Mm,
So I really, really loved this one game called Sunhaven. It's a lot like Stardew Valley, where you just take care of a farm and it's very laid back
mm,
and relaxed, and you do your day to day. And I loved the game so much that I had about, I think, 120 hours, I think, into the game, but that was before I started streaming it. So I figured, it was going to be a big one when I came back. But what I realized is because it was so laid back, it was so much harder to, keep things engaging. There
Yeah.
were no stakes, is what I kind of noticed.
Ah, okay.
And, that's kind of what triggered my pivot away
Hmm.
from, cozier games like that,
Ah,
even though I love them to death.
yeah. Well, yeah, I can see that. There's no with a game like that. There's no horrific mistake that you're going to make
Mm-hmm.
that'll make you want to throw the controller or the entire game console,
Yeah.
that type of thing. Um, but at the same time, if you're just vegging out on the front porch and there's nothing else going on, you throw it on, and 3 hours later it's time for supper. That type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Or 6 hours later it's time to go to sleep. Um, and that type of thing. Uh, so
Yeah.
so for streaming, you'd rather have a game that has a some sort of deadline to it.
Yes.
Mm.
Some sort of deadline, some sort of stakes, and even more so if there's a way that I can play with other people. Because I just love having other people come in and help me on stream.
Mm.
So anything with a multiplayer aspect, even more so.
Yeah. Now, have you been able to do collaborations with other VTubers?
I have actually.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough within these last few months to make some really, nice connections.
Yeah.
I've only ever done one collab on my own channel, but I have, participated in a number of different collabs for other people as well.
Yeah. Now,
And I have to attribute one of some of my biggest growth to someone called Eggy Weggy VT.
yeah.
She is probably one of my bestest friends within the VTubing sphere
Yeah.
and has done so much for helping me grow into who I am now.
That's cool. That's cool. Good shout out there. And now they're on the list. I will have them on. They're in the sites, and we're just loading up all the equipment now. The getting on somebody else's stream and doing it as opposed to having it on your own. What is the difference for you, or is there?
Well, to me, there's a huge difference. When I'm participating in collabs that I'm not hosting myself,
Mm.
I try very hard to be, the best supporting cast that I
Mm.
can.
Okay.
It's all about doing what I can to make the person who is streaming, shine just a little bit more.
Mm.
Whether it's by, setting up for some comedic moments, or or just letting them have the spotlight and stepping aside a little bit. There's just it's a lot more laid back because I'm not as worried about, about performing on my own. And it's more just it's a supporting role,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. And doing it on your own channel, um, there's a lot of things that would worry me. And I'm not a
Yes.
VTuber, so I don't do this. But if I were, it would be like, I'm introducing all of these people to my chat, mine, my precious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't want them to get the wrong ideas, or it. There's just a fear of it making a bad match.
Yes, absolutely. There's also, there's also the added, pressure of wanting to, juggle interacting with your own chat, but also not neglecting your collaborators. And it's hard to strike that balance sometimes.
Hmm.
So I do find, hosting collabs with other people, but not necessarily on my channel, just is so much, more enjoyable and a lot less stressful for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I would imagine too, and please correct me if I'm incorrect with this,
Mm-hmm.
is that you got to make sure that you're a good guest and that you abide by what they want to do on a stream.
Yeah.
If they're very, very strict as far as language and stuff and topics,
Oh,
don't
exactly.
don't
Yeah.
go in
There's a
don't
lot of self moderation that needs to go on.
don't go in with a sailor's mouth and start just
But
wading
I
away.
have to check with some people because believe it or not, that is kind of me. I do have a little bit of a sailor mouth.
Can you imagine that voice, folks?
Yeah.
I'm definitely tuning in more now because I got to hear this. But really, it's you have to, because you're playing to their audience now, um,
Mhm.
and and the whole point of networking is you've got to make a good appearance to their audience too. Um, you
Yeah.
don't want to harm their audience numbers, but you also want to appeal to them as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
because you want to be a good guest and be invited back. You also want folks to say, "Oh, they're on stream. I want to listen to them too." Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's all about finding that balance. And I find that it's so much easier when I'm not streaming myself
mhm, yeah,
to do that. So, I think as far as collabs go on my own channel, we'll put a pause on that and come back to it a little bit later.
yeah. I really like your attitude about the kind of playing more the foil and the supporting character in these, because it I'm the term comes to mind, ingratiates, which doesn't sound very good, but actually is in this, because you're putting the shine on the main character, um, that's
Yeah.
going on, and you want to be invited back again, being the good guest.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's all about, keeping up that nice appearance.
yeah. I mean, if you come in and just and some chats it's fine because the people, they know each other, and they goof with each other all the time. They're playing like a game of golf with friends, and then they mess each other over. That's what the game is for. Um,
Mhm.
but if you go in and just hog everything, take all the spotlight away when it's not your stream in the first place,
Yeah.
um, that's gonna that not only will tick off the host, but the audience isn't probably going to appreciate it either.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's always going to be some of them hotheads out there. What are you doing
You
to
got it. Yeah.
What are you doing to my favorite streamer? They're the best at this. Why are you even
Oh
here?
yeah, with how diehard some of these VTuber fans can get. Hey, the last thing I want to do is be burning bridges, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So this has gone really well for you this time around. I I wonder if you are satisfied with your progress at this point.
You know, there are some times where I look back and I'm like, I really had wished that I had given this more attention a lot earlier. But at the same time, I am very proud of how far that I've grown.
Mhm.
I like to say that, I've come further a lot faster than I think some creators have come. And more importantly, is that I've learned a lot more than, I thought that I would at this point in my career. So I'd say even though I have my eyes set so much higher than where I am now, I'm still very grateful for how far I have managed to come.
Yeah, excellent. And by the way, I found a couple of words that describe the voice: earnest and honest. How about that? That sounds that those are a couple adjectives I'll throw in there. There'll be more coming. Um, I'm not looking it up on the internet as I'm doing this. I don't do that sort of thing. I'm looking it up on my phone. Um,
I trust you.
the, that you'd be number one. first, the first would have trusted me on that sort of thing. Um, the the whole concept seems to be right down your alley here. Whether or not you knew it when you started, because you kind of jumped in to now, you have to feel now that this is the right thing for you to do.
Oh, absolutely. I think I had always known that I wanted to take this so much further than where I am, and that I was gonna like throw, everything into it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of proven by how, I jumped in with the major investment of a custom model,
Yeah.
which if I could go back and do it again, I would. I would do the exact same thing again. But, think that I'm, very lucky in the sense that I was able to feel like this was it for me, that this was, my path very early on. And it was just a matter of, building the skills and pushing more forward for it.
Yeah, and after taking the little time and coming back and getting at it again, is
Yeah,
you have a little bit different outlook too. I bet. The eyes, yeah,
absolutely.
your eyes are squinting a little bit more at the details.
Just a tad, just
Yeah,
a tad.
yeah, and that, but you're also probably built up a little bit of what's coming, and
Mm-hmm.
if and that just happens with age sometimes too. Just
Yeah.
learning as you go, and you're still learning as you. The whole thing is learning as you go for you, isn't it? As far as this is concerned.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I recognize that there's a lot that I still don't know. There's a lot that I do wrong on the daily. But I like to think that it's all about, taking the small steps to improve rather than, like, huge leaps and bounds.
Mm. But it's the small steps taken over a long period of time that make up the
Yeah.
difference, and that kind of consistency can build an audience too. Have you been able to
Mm-hmm.
keep up a consistent schedule with real life and stuff getting in the way?
All things considered, I do think I have been able to. And a lot of that is because I prioritize, VTubing and streaming so much.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, in this last month or so, the fall and winter months do tend to be a little bit harder on me. So it's been slipping a little bit, but I like to think that overall, I've been managing to keep it pretty consistent. So at
Yeah.
least a lot more consistent than some other creators who might just start or might
Yeah.
just be starting out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't get to be the just starter anymore. You've been around a while, so no more rookie on.
True.
You don't get a rookie card now. You're year two at least. All of this leads up to this question for you is: are you going to try to make this a career?
Absolutely.
Mm.
100%.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a matter of, when, not if.
Mm.
I think I knew from when I had first started that this was something that I wanted to do.
Mm.
It's just that I had a lot of self-doubts about whether it was something I could even accomplish or something that, it was even right for me to try to strive for. And I've taken it now to the perspective that it's something that I want so bad that I'm willing to, put in the effort to make it work. So it's just it's a matter of, when the timing is right and all that stuff.
It sounds like you'll do it, but you want to do it right when you do it.
Yes, I want to do it right.
Yeah, not any half-assed way to do it. And just go in and do it, and but do it know what you're doing before you do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's, folks will say, might say, that's you're taking the little steps. Yeah, but they're concrete steps. They're not slippery. They're you build a house with a concrete foundation, and you build an audience with a solid group of people that are there for your personality and how you and participate in things.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being the third little pig when it comes to this sort of thing, because you are doing it for the long haul.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with that, how long are you willing to go to get to that?
How long?
Yeah. Have you got
let's
a
see.
date in mind? Is it like, December 3rd of this year or what?
You know what? I always said that, it'll happen when, I feel like it is the right time.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to put a deadline on it, I also understand that, something like this is, it's hard to just put a deadline on it because I want to be fully prepared before I commit. But I do want to say though that I am expecting some major leaps and bounds to be made next year at towards the end of 2026, and I'm very, very excited to see, where all of that kind of, leads me and where I end up from there.
You're going to leave us with that, aren't you? You're not going to tell us what they are, but you got something planned, don't you?
We've got some stuff planned, yeah.
I see where you're going with this. I don't know actually where you're going with this, but I know that you got somewhere with it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, in talking with you these several minutes, it doesn't sound like that you don't jump where there isn't a lily pad to land.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I feel like as much as I, allowed myself to, feed into this, some would say, delusion that I can, actually make it big. But as much as I'm allowing myself to do that, I still want to stay at least somewhat grounded in a little bit of reality there.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I've got rent to pay.
Absolutely.
I have rabbits to support.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the delusion part is, only done. Delusion is mostly a word used by people who don't try. So I would kind of throw that out for the most part. This is a situation where you've obviously got the personality, the voice, the talent, the background, the want to, a very good game plan, and you sound like you are giving yourself every opportunity to be successful.
I am doing my absolute best to, yeah.
Yeah, and you're also doing your best to make sure that you're not going to step in a pothole.
It would be nice to avoid every now and again.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, sometimes potholes are pretty good if your enemies step in them. But that's something that that VTubers need to avoid and not worry about what other people are able to do. It's still very much as fun as I see people having with other folks. The competition still isn't there yet for an audience. There's too many people still coming in to divide up an audience and worry about 1v1.
Absolutely. Something that I always am told, and something that I do believe in, is that it's not a competition for audience members, and it shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. What it should be is a mutual effort to grow VTubing as a sphere, so that way there are more fans to go around.
Yeah. But when you see the numbers on streams go up to 6 or 7 digits, then maybe you can start getting a little rowdy about it. But it's right now there's still so many people that don't even know it exists, and they will enjoy themselves once they do. And there are age brackets. There are people my age that would enjoy it if they just stop watching political things and watched fun.
Yeah.
And that's just my soapbox for this interview. And there's entire language groups that don't know yet, and there's just so many countries and different types of streaming. Is there a type of streaming that you'd like to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh, you know what? I would really like to host a talk show.
Why not? You can do it.
Yeah, I would really like to host a talk show.
Do it.
Or my own little SNL or Saturday Night Live kind of skits involved.
Absolutely.
And really kind of tune in on the whole broadcast idea of a live broadcast.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't need my blessing, but you got it. Do it. Do it. Absolutely. I think that somebody who's coming from your angle and doing the VTuber thing and has a background in wanting to do stage stuff, that's the right angle to take. And you'll find, and one thing you'll find plenty of people who want to help you with it. Just take a look. I've got a guest list for you. You can look at of a lot of people who are very very talented folks. There's no shortage of talent out there in VTuberville to do. And I really, if you get that going, please let me know. If you need like a studio announcer, I'll put on my Don
I
Pardo
definitely
voice.
will.
And now it's time for the it's time for the big show. I can pull that out of the closet if I really need to. Hey, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute joy talking with you, and refreshing to hear what you've got planned and what you've been able to do so far. Sky's the limit, and keep reaching for it.
Sky's the limit. Yeah.
You'll get there. You'll get there. We're gonna have all the links that we've been able to find in the description for this video. Let us know what's going on with you, because I think we got a lot of good stuff coming.
Of course, we'll do.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.